Good evening, good evening, good evening. So happy for y'all to join me on tonight. I am Shawnte. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Conversations. I am, because of the weather, we had to cancel our initial show for tonight. So Liz Gabriel, our guest for tonight, she is going to be joining us on March the 5th as she talked with us about overcoming attractive distraction. But on tonight, I didn't want to just have dead air. So I am your host, and then we are going to be doing another episode of Ask Me Anything. I am here by myself. And believe it or not, I'm so proud of myself because I have everything set up. But I need you um, to help me out. If there is any problem with sound, if the camera starts going crazy, I'm trying to keep myself set up and monitor everything at the same time. But if there is any problems, I want you to let me know so that I can do something about it. If you have any problems hearing me, let me know. I have my phone and I can watch the chat. So I need you all to talk back to me on tonight. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. I'm so excited. Um, and what I love about Ask Me Anything is it's a very informal, this is a very informal setting. You see that I am dressed in my next level gear. I'm here at the office. We like to be, we have to pivot at all times whenever the situation, whatever's going on. I was talking with Tanya on today, uh, and we were talking about how when life changes or when a situation changes, you have to be able to rotate your environment. Whatever environment you're in, when the situation changes, you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to move as opposed to getting stuck in a situation. And so that's what we did on tonight. They told us that the weather was going to be bad. We couldn't get into the studio. I didn't want my team to be inconvenienced. I didn't want to inconvenience my guest, Liz Gabriel, on tonight. So we had to pivot, and it feels good. It's it's a new experience. And so for those of you who are just now joining us, I do want to let you know that because of the weather, we had to cancel our guest, Liz Gabriel, on tonight. And so tonight we are doing a solo show with me, Shawnte, your host, and Liz will be back. She will be joining us actually in the studio on March the 5th. In the meantime, let's get to some questions. Okay, so I have a few questions here that have come in over the last few months since we last did Ask Me Anything. And I'm gonna try to, make myself look all professional and stuff. I can't see, so that's okay. And the other thing is I am going to be using you as a guinea pig tonight because I'm trying out some new things with my equipment. So I need your help on that too. But in any event, I'm excited about tonight. I really hate that Liz is not joining us on tonight. And you're going to hear me say that over and over again as new people come on because I don't want anybody to think that they stepped into the wrong show. Liz Gabriel, because of the weather, we had to cancel tonight's episode, and she will be back on Wednesday, March 5th. So make sure you tune in. Okay, so tonight's first question is, tell us a little bit about your victory log. How do you do it and how it helps you? Okay. My victory log is a log that I keep. I was struggling with knowing who I was and knowing my strengths and the things that I do. And so as part of God's way of teaching me how to really basically have a testimony. How it's my and it's just that it's my victory list, the things that I have accomplished. Because sometimes in life we take for granted what it is that we've actually been able to do and what it is that we've actually done because life circumstances will make us think that we have not accomplished anything. And so what God had me do was he was like, okay, I want you to write down everything. And just, I mean, just open up your, just, I have it on my phone. here on my phone. I have it on my phone, and I just write. I'm supposed to put on my victory log. I figured out how to get sound in Zoom, how to play a video with sound in Zoom all by myself. That's a victory. Every little thing that I do, I completed a workout on today. I learned how to braid my hair. I paid off um, a credit card on today. I didn't cry at the movies or whatever it may be. Just every little victory that I can think about, I celebrate myself with that log. And so what happens is every time I start to feel some type of way as if I'm not moving as excuse me, if I start to feel as if I'm failing, I'll go back to that log, and that log reminds me immediately. It's almost like David. If you know the story of King David in the Bible when he went to fight Goliath, they were asking him, "What makes you qualified?" And he said, "I fought a bear, I fought a tiger. Anytime something came to take something came to destroy the sheep that I was in charge of, I fought them off. So this is my qualifications. This is what I can do." And so the victory log is not for anybody else, but it's for me. It's that internal reminder, that constant reminder. Shawnte, let's go back to something tangible. This is what you have done. And so the other question is how do you do it and how it helps you? I think I've answered that. I do it consistently. I'm updating it all the time. And it helps build my confidence in myself. Okay. Tell us about the relationship you believe exists between one, the difficult experiences we all have in life, the breakthroughs we achieve, and how that enables us to help others. Ooh. Okay, tell us about the relationship you believe exists between the difficult experiences we all have in life and how that enables us to help others and the breakthroughs we achieve. Well, I think they're all interconnected. Our story, our challenges, okay, this is first for me. Every situation that I go through is an opportunity for God to reveal one, himself to me, and two, me to me. So everything that I go through is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to learn something about myself that I didn't know before I started the situation, before that challenge came on. And so, just like I was just talking about the victory log, when I realized I've had this hard challenge in life and I've made it past it. I can put that on my victory log. And I have it on my victory log. I am an overcomer. I am a finisher. I am a speaker. I know how to handle trouble. I know how to survive in hard times. I know how to pivot. And so the relationship between the two is they help grow us. They help strengthen us. And our story, our testimony about that helps others. Revelations talks about they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the words of their testimony. Our testimony of the challenges that we face and that we overcame is what helps and gives hope to other people. And so they are all connected. They're all interwoven. I don't go through things just for myself. I go through things so that God can use my story to help somebody else who is going through something, who is facing a challenge, or who may be facing a challenge. I can look back and I can tell them I went through and these are the things that I did. And if God can bring me through it, you can make it. And so they're all stories of hope. And the breakthrough, the relationship between the challenge and the breakthrough is so that you can know you more, so that you can get a better understanding, better knowledge of your strengths and the greatness that lies in you. And so that you can be reminded that you're not alone and that you can make it and that there's more to you. I hope that answers your question. I want to, don't look like anybody new who's joined us on tonight. Yeah, so that's good. At a time when the world has really changed, how do you stay positive, faithful, and encouraged? A very good question. Um, and as I was saying, as I said earlier, me and Tanya were having a conversation, and life. One of the things that I've come to realize is that life is always changing. Life is always moving. Things are always happening. The world just, and the older you get, the more you realize this. No 2 days are the same. It's always something happening. And the world that we live in, the world that we know it as of right now, it has completely changed. It doesn't look anything like it did. Even not 20 years ago, 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, not even 1 year ago. And that can be scary. So, first you acknowledge that change is taking place, that change is happening. But how do I stay positive and faithful and encouraged? Very simple, and it's going to sound very cliche, but it's God. It is, it's God. I know without a shadow of a doubt that God is the source of my life. And so, because He is my anchor, I do not put my faith and my trust and my hope in things that are tangible because life is always changing. It's fleeting. People are here today and gone tomorrow. You may have a job today and you don't have one tomorrow. So I cannot place trust. I cannot place my faith in something that's tangible, that's constantly moving. And so I have made the decision to place my trust and my faith and my confidence in something higher that exists beyond this realm, that exists beyond this world, that exists outside of the outside of man, outside of king, outside of governments, who's higher. That's my belief. That's where my faith lies. That's where my beliefs lies. And so because that is he is my anchor and he has shown me continually through, as I previously said, challenging situations, through my victory log. He reminds me, go back to your victory log. Look what it is that you've come through. Look what it is that you've done. And so, because I have that, and because God has continually showed me that He will be there in every situation I encounter, as the world changes and as things happen, I trust that He knows and He will guide me. I go to Him in prayer every single morning to start my day. I talk with Him throughout the day. God, guide me on today because only you know what today holds. I don't know what everybody's going to do on any given day, but God knows. And I know that as long as I follow Him, everything else will be okay. So that is how I stay positive. That's how I stay upbeat. That's how I can say, and I know this, and I say this all the time, everything is going to be okay. It doesn't matter what it is going to be okay. I am going to be okay. We are going to be okay. Doesn't matter what happens, we're going to be okay. Some way or another, everything is going to be okay because everything is going to happen the way that it's meant to happen. I control what I can control, and everything else that's not within my control, I give it to the person whose control that it's in. Again, that's God. And so that is why I can wake up every day with a smile on my face. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that regardless of what life looks like right now, everything is going to be okay. It doesn't matter about the rumors of war. It doesn't matter what the government looks like. It doesn't matter what the people in your life are doing. Everything going to be okay. I can say that and I mean that because of who I have anchored myself to and where I have grounded myself. I hope that answers your question. We're going to, oh, okay. So I see that you all have started putting questions in the chat. Please continue to do so. I really, really, really like that. We are going to, okay, so I'm going to answer the next question. Is everybody here? Everybody rocking with me? Okay, give me some thumbs up in the chat if I'm doing good while I'm sitting here solo rocking it. Make sure you can hear me. Okay. Um. So okay, good. All right. So let me answer this one right here. Tell us about the value of conversation. Keeping things inside is so isolating. Ooh, that is a good one. And one of the things that I'm going to refer you back to is our show last week with Terry Lee Harrison. We were talking about overcoming shame. And one of the main how to overcome it, one of the things that we were talking about, it was just so fascinating, it was so great, was how to overcome shame, starting with breaking silence. So the answer to your question, tell us about the value of conversation, keeping things isolated. I'm gonna describe it like this, and we talked about it on the show. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and there were a lot of things in my life um, that I was ashamed of, things that other people did to me, and things that I did to myself. And life used to, the voices in my head would beat me up over those things. They were silent, but they were in my head, and they were loud. They were tormenting. It kept me, the shame of what I was feeling, the the fear of what I was going through kept me quiet. I didn't want anybody to know. That was isolation. And in that isolation, in that silence, the enemy and myself would beat myself up. I would beat myself up. I would just tear myself down with negative things because there were no other voices telling me positive things, instilling other truths inside of me. I listened to those lies. Episode 2 of this season, we talked about the convenient lies. I listened to those lies because I was by myself. I did not speak. I did not tell anybody. I did not share anything with anyone. So in that isolation, I was still being defeated. And that's what isolation does. It allows the enemy an opportunity to lie to you. But when you begin to break silence, when you begin to talk, when you begin to express, when you begin to open up your soul and give your soul a place to speak and create space for her that she can acknowledge in any setting. You can do it in counseling, you can just do it with a friend, but opening up your mouth and talking, it breaks the isolation. It takes the power that the enemy had. It takes the power that those lies had. It takes it away. And it allows you to grow. It allows you to hear something new. It allows you to deposit truth inside of you. And the Bible is right. You shall know the truth, and it'll set you free. In isolation, the enemy doesn't want you to know the truth. Your trauma doesn't want you to know the truth. People who are manipulating you, they don't want you to know the truth. So they don't want you talking. They want to keep you silent. And as long as you are silent, there is nobody else to tell you otherwise, that no, you can make it. No, you are better than this. There is more life to you. You don't have to die right here. You can go through, you can get pregnant, and you can still have a life. You can get out of this bad situation. You don't have to be beat here. You don't have to die of this shame. In isolation, you don't get that. When you're silent, you don't get that. It's just the internal torment. And when we were talking about the convenient lies, um, The clinical psychologist Taylor Davis was telling us that the body keeps score. The body lives the lies with you that you tell to yourself or that you allow to infect you in that place of isolation. So you have the isolation doesn't want you to know your freedom, doesn't want you away from, wants you stuck. So the power, the value of freedom, it's life is I break the silence, whatever's break the silence. Talk to a talk to a friend, call me, talk to your mom, talk to your sister, talk to your dog, talk to the air, go take a walk and just talk out loud to God. Open up a journal. That's how I had to start. Open up a journal and just begin to write. Get into the mirror and just have conversation. Yeah, that's a very good question. I thank you for it, and I hope that helps. We're going to take a quick pause.
Howdy, my name is Taylor Davis. I'm the founder and clinical director of Taylor Mind Therapeutics. If you're a woman looking to navigate anxiety, depression, or limiting belief systems, come find me. Let's do a little therapy and transform your life.
And we are back. Did that work out good? Hi, I did that. I did that. I want to welcome everybody back. For those of you who are just joining us on tonight, we're having an impromptu show. Our guest speaker, our guest for tonight, Ms. Gabriel, because of the weather, we had to cancel our live recording in our studio, but she will be here on March the 5th for talking with us about overcoming or not being caught up in attractive distractions and how to stay focused and move forward in life. So make sure that you come and you join us on March 5th for an enlightening conversation. She is an amazing individual, an interior designer, musician, author, and she suffers from bipolarism. So it's very interesting, her story of how she has used her creativity to help her manage her bipolarism. And through that, she has developed these 5 keys to keep you from being distracted. So make sure you come and join us on March 5th. In the meantime, you have me, your host of Next Level Conversation, Shawnte Kinney, and we are doing Ask Me Anything. I have some questions here, and if you the chat is open. If you have any additional questions that you would like to ask, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will get to them. Okay, I had missed a question earlier. Tell us. Okay, no, that was okay. I know you're studying Paul. What can we learn from Paul's trials? Ooh, oh, and I'm trying not to talk too long about Paul. Paul is my man. Okay. Um, and I am, for anyone who knows me, and you've joined if you joined the Bible study that we do on the fourth Thursday of every month, I am studying. I'm doing a very deep dive in the life of Apostle Paul. And one thing I will tell you about the trials that Paul faced and the places that he went and the things that his trials caused him to learn is God has you in every situation. It is that if there's one thing that I can say about Paul and the things that he went through, the thing that God showed him through every trial is that it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what your enemies try to do to you. You cannot kill the will of God. You cannot silence the plan of God. And when you are living on purpose and living in assignment, it does not matter what anybody does. You cannot be destroyed. When you when you are in the will of God, God will cover you, protect you. Paul, Paul, Paul endured so many things, so many things. And it was in enduring all of those things that he spoke out of the bowels of his struggles, of his challenges. And so he was able to say, because he had been stoned, he had literally been stoned in one place. They stoned him and they left him for dead. And then they left the city and people were crying around his grave. And he got up and he went back to where he was. People will do that. But I say that to say it doesn't matter the weapons that they throw at you. And Paul was, because of that, Paul was able to say things like his grace is sufficient. I know that I'm more than a conqueror. You know, I've fought a good fight. He was able to say, I can do all things through Christ. Because of the things that he went through, God constantly showed himself faithful. And Paul got to know God on such a deep level that when God told him, this is not going to kill you. This journey to Rome is not going to kill you. You are going to get there safely. He could believe him because God had been faithful in so many other occasions. When they beat him and Silas, and threw them in prison, God, and they begin to pray and they begin to sing praises. God opened the prison doors. There is no place that can stop you. There is no room that can hold you. There is no enemy that can defeat you when you are on assignment, God. When you put your trust and your faith in God. Paul Paul is giving me life. He's teaching me how to reach for God in a deeper way. He's teaching me, he's teaching me things, and I can see God through his eyes. I can see God through his experience. See God on another level as a, you know, as a provider on another level because of the things that he went through. It's it's so deep. It's so good. It's so good. Right now, I'm studying his letter to the Ephesians, and it's just so good. And it constantly reminds us that before all of this happened, we were chosen. We were chosen in God. We were chosen in God chose us before the foundation of the world. That's good news. And Paul, he didn't just say it, he believed it, and his life expressed it. And so he was bold. He was unapologetic. He was very he was confident. And I want to be like that. And you know, those are the things that his challenges teach us. How to stand boldly before God, how to stand boldly before your enemy, how to stand boldly in every situation. Do what you're going to do. But until God gives you permission, you can't do anything to me. It can't kill me. All it can do, make me stronger. And that's what every last one of Paul's enemies, this is the last thing. Okay, see, I told y'all I could talk about Paul for a while. This is the last thing I'm going to say. What's one thing, what can we learn from Paul's trials? That your enemies are going to get you. Your enemies are going to make you. Your enemies are going to speak your name more than your friends. Your enemies are going to tell more people about you more than anybody else. So don't be upset with your enemy. Forgive them. In fact, thank them because they are the ones that make your name, that they don't make your name great, but they continue to speak your name. They follow you from place to place. And you like, and Paul's enemies made him, I mean, legendary. They were talking about him all over the world, all over Southern Asia. So you got to kind of roll with it. That's, you know, like I said, I love Paul. Okay. How do you embrace your imperfections? Woo. How do you embrace your imperfections? Well, they are what they are. I did not I wasn't, I could not always, I, and I still, and don't get me wrong, I still struggle with what I consider imperfections. I have body dysmorphia. I mean, I'm constantly subconsciously trying to fix something, and then when I realize it, I have to remind myself, you're already good, perfect, fine. Whatever it is, it's good. It's good. If there's something about you that you don't like, without changing the core of who I am, so I work out because I want to be healthy and because I want a certain look. But all the lips and the butt and all of those things, I used to have real problems with them. And God put me on a fast, and I had to tell myself, I had to look in the mirror, I had to say something nice about the parts of my body that I did not I wasn't comfortable with, that I thought were not attractive. And I would have to go all day long and thanking him for those parts. And I would have to tell myself something about them, why they were perfect. And through that process, learn to accept things about flaws, because all of it makes me me. You know what I'm saying? All of it part of who I am. And so that's how I embrace my imperfections by allowing them to be. And where I can learn more, where I can change without changing the core of who I do it. I do work. Don't get me wrong, but it's all part of me. Your imperfections, and here's the beauty. Again, we talk about Paul. Beauty in God knowing all the things that were wrong with that I would do, the places mess up, shortcomings that I would have, things that I would say wrong, mind frames that I would go into, the cycles that I would do. God knowing all of that before I did it, still chose me and said I was one. I was his beloved. I was called by him. He still decided to use me. That means a lot to me. And so it helps me accept me. And then another thing that God would tell me is, how you claim to love me, but you treat what I love so bad. You're talking down about yourself, and you're complaining about this, or complaining about your head, and because you've listened to all of these lies. You've listened to people say that that's not perfect. You've watched other people and you compared yourself to other people. So you've determined that what I made was not perfect. And so you say you love me, but you mistreat what I love. That hit me kind of hard. That hit me kind of hard. So I've learned to embrace all the things about me. They're perfect. People used to talk about my gap, and it used to make me self-conscious. That Now I smell all the time, gap and all. I show all the gums. It's okay. What can I say? All right, here we go. Tell us a little bit about the trap of unforgiveness and what role forgiveness plays in moving forward. It's essential. It's essential. The trap of unforgiveness, and you just have all this stuff up in your head. God bless me. The trap of unforgiveness is very simple, in my opinion. Not an expert. I'm an expert on Shawnte, but you do not forgive, stay stuck. You continue to give person and the situation, not just the person, but the situation. Two, you have double power. You were given your power. You are not free, because that thing that was done to you in the past follows you everywhere. It follows you into relationships. It follows you into businesses. It follows you into marriage. It transfers from you to children. It goes with you when you go to the bathroom. When you look in the mirror, it's there with you. Every time you go to do something good, that that power that unforgiveness has, because you have not let go of what was done to you in the past, it goes right there with you. So when you sit and you sitting there having a conversation, it's sitting right there with you. The thing that those people did to you, they are following you throughout your life, and you're never letting them, and you're giving them power. So when you wanna go forward, you'll remember what was done, and they pull you back. So they keep you. Unforgiveness keeps you back here in the back. It keeps you where it wants to keep you. And so, in order to abound, that's the word for this year. God has said it to me over, over, and over again. This is the year to abound, the year to go forward, the year to let go of the weight and move forward. So, in order to move forward, you have to forgive and let it go. Because unforgiveness, you're trying to go up, and unforgiveness is just pulling you down. It's just a weight, and you can only go so far. And you are constantly, you're trying to figure out, why can I not get out of this cycle? Because you refuse to forgive, refuse to let go. You keep thinking about it and replaying it, and it goes everywhere with you. You go to lay down in bed. You are not in bed with just you and your husband or you and your wife. The person who hurt you is in bed with you. The person who lied on you that you can't let it go is laying in bed with you. They have all of it. So in order to go forward, you have to let it go and empower yourself. Get your power, get your life back, get your joy back. Because the second you let it go, you're just gonna take off. You are going to abound. It's gonna be like a slingshot. You're just gonna go, and life changes the moment. The moment you say, you know what, it happened. I'm not holding on to it anymore. I forgive you. I forgive me for the decisions that I made because of what you did to me. I forgive God for allowing me to go through it. And now I'm going forward. You can stay back there because that's where it is. It's your past. That's how I see it. That's how I've handled all things that have happened to me in my life. It has taken me a lot of time to get there. I do not intentionally revisit those memories. Matter of fact, I intentionally forget them until I need them to tell the story to. So the pain of what people did, I don't feel that pain anymore because I forgave it and I let it go. Now I allow it to allow me to enter into rooms and speak to people and be a blessing to others. So I use the story of what they did to go forward. I hope that helps. Oh, make sure your mic is straight. There are a few words missing here and there. Okay, I got you. Can y'all hear me now? I didn't want to. This was tacky, but okay, I guess I set it up there. Is that okay? Can you hear me okay? I feel like I got one of them things up in my throat. Okay. What's your morning routine with study and prayer? Well, I'm glad you asked. um, the second I get up, the moment I have a conscious thought, the first thing is, God, I thank you, because every day is a new day that I did not have to get. And then I get up, I go and I make me some hot water, lemon, and honey. And I either sit at my desk or I sit in my bed and I get into my word. And this is every day. This is every day. And I spend time, sometimes I may only make it through 2 scriptures, maybe 1, but I spend the time not reading, but studying. And I talk out loud to God, or I say out loud what I've read. I say out loud what I think it means. And he tells me, he talks back to me, and that starts a conversation with us. And I write and I talk with him. And that's what I do. That's what I do. And then I go in the mornings, I go into a reflection time where I'm not doing anything. I'll just kind of lay there and just let God just talk to me. And then I'll get up, and normally I'll go to the gym, and then I'll go to work and start my day. So that's literally my morning routine. That's how I start every single day. Tell us the role praise and tell us the role praise and praise music plays in your life. Well, for one, I personally am a worshiper. I'm a worshiper. I Whether I have music or not, you'll always catch me singing. Because I love giving God the praise that he deserves. It takes me to another dimension. And sometimes when life is really, really, really hard for me, or I'm feeling really stressed out, and it's hard for me to, I've talked to my accountability partners, and I've tried to work that thing through, even through prayer, and it still isn't there. My spirit still isn't settled. One of the things that I do, and if you know me, you know that um, this is an indication that I'm in the space, because I'll just put on my headphones. I won't talk to anybody. This is all day at work, all day, whatever. I'll put on my headphones and I'll just listen to worship music. Sometimes I'll listen to the same song over and over and over again until my soul and until my spirit all comes into alignment. Um, that's how I get out of where I am back into where I need to be mentally and spiritually. I can be here physically, but my spirit feels disconnected, or it feels heavy. So through that, and sometimes I cry, sometimes I just sing, and I'll get loud, and I'll walk in. I'm back. I'll walk in. I walk in just singing. That's how I get myself back to my center. That's how I come back in, and I always call it, I'm spending time with the angels. I'm just sitting in the presence of God, and it restores something back in me. It brings me back. It brings me back, and it strengthens me. It strengthens me. It literally takes me to another dimension. And so that's what praise music and worship does for me. All right. How do you close your day? It depends on the day. Um, During the week, I close my day. I walk home because I love being out in nature, and it separates the day, the work day, from the rest of my life. So that's my separation. First, I walk home and I literally feel nature. I feel it. And I'm normally singing when I don't have my bat, and I'm, paying attention to, I do situational awareness, but I'm normally singing. But then I get home, I take a hot shower, I drink another cup of hot water, lemon and honey. And if it's a Friday night, I may lay in bed and watch a movie before I go to sleep. Otherwise, I'll do some reading. And then I allow my body to tell me when it's ready to go to sleep. So um, I'll read. I may even watch an hour or so of television, maybe. And then when my body shuts down, I know that I've completed everything that I needed to complete for the day, and I be out. So with the exception of Wednesday nights, I am normally asleep by 8:30. It's very rare that you can catch me awake at 9 o'clock, but I'm normally in bed by 7:30, just because I get up so early in the morning, and I do a lot through the day. I do. My day starts early, and I do a whole lot, and I love it because, and people ask me this all the time, how do you get so much accomplished? I allow God to direct my day. And if it's not on my heart to do that, then that's not for today. And so I do the things that's on my heart to do. And that way, by the time I go to bed, I should be tired, because I've done the things that God wanted me to do. If I didn't do it, it wasn't for today. And so I get to rest. There once was a time when I couldn't rest. I couldn't sleep, because I never touched the things that God wanted me to touch in a day. And so when I went to sleep, all the things that he told me that he wanted me to do, they would plague me on my mind, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was replaying things. I mean, I had no peace. Now I sleep and I love it. So that's how I end. That's how I end my day. That's my night routine. What spiritual book would you recommend? Oh, um, what spiritual book? Other, 100% the Bible of all things. That's my go-to. Another spiritual book that I would, okay, you say spiritual book. Okay, spiritual book. I would do, and I tell people this all the time. He's a little deep, but I really like him. A writer by the name of Neville Goddard. I love his work, so I would do him. I've started to get into Miles Monroe. I am also another book that I really love is Bishop Noel Jones' Battlefield of the Mind. That is it's a deep study, but it's really good with teaching you the things, the warring that goes on in your mind on a daily basis. So those are some of my spiritual books. One of my favorite just self-help, self-development books I always recommend to people, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Just absolutely love it. I love the power of the subconscious mind. Um, I do a lot of reading, so there's a lot of things that I love. Oh, you know what? Let me pause. Let me give you so I give you the Bible, and then I recommend to everybody to have Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. I give that book out to all of my clients. I use it as a gift. Whenever God puts somebody on my heart, I send them that book. You can get it at the half price bookstore, $4.99. It's really the Lord talking to you every day, guiding you. It's a great book. So that's something that I recommend. We live in a world where there are so many choices available to us. And we can be and do whatever we want, and everything seems to be okay. How do you yourself make the right choices, and how do you know that it is the right choice? Ooh, that's a good question. First of all, I will say this. I make the choice that makes me the best version of me. I also ask myself, how is this helping my goal, where I'm going? One of the questions that I ask myself consistently, where are you? And then where do you want to go? So as I have those two things clear in my head, when situations arise or when it's time to make a choice, I get to weigh that. Does this get me closer to where I'm going, or does this take me away? Does this make me a better person? Or am I going to be ashamed about this tomorrow? And I have to ask myself that all the time, all the time. And I think that, sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, you shouldn't have to constantly ask yourself this, but I do. I want to do this, but how does this choice, how does saying yes to this, how does it benefit my goals? How does it align with where I want to go or who I want to be? How does it? And you're right. At a time when we can do anything, how does this decision or this choice represent who I am and who I say I am and whose I am? Does this make me the best version of myself? So I ask myself all of that. And by the time I finish asking myself all of those questions, I just don't even want to make a choice. So I just say, forget it. I'm just joking. Just joking. It just becomes, you mean I just thought through so much of you, like, you know what, if I have to think about all of that and I have to weigh that, then you know what, 9 times out of 10, this is probably not the choice for me. But it's how do you know when you've made the right choice? You really don't until you get into the choice. And that's the beauty about life. That's what experiences gives us. You literally, because there is not a right or wrong choice to me. It's what's the choice that makes you the best version of you? What is the choice that gets you closer to where you want to go? And what is the choice that adequately expresses who you are and who you represent? And you just don't know if you don't know if it's a good choice until you get in there. And then it's what you do as a result of. We make a lot of bad choices, but then we do, like I said at the beginning, we pivot. You don't be afraid to pivot. If you made a bad choice and you get in there and you're like, this was not the choice for me, this probably was not the best decision, it's okay to make another choice. That's the reason why we have the power of choice. I thank God for that. Sometimes it becomes overwhelming, but when you strip everything away, the choices literally boil down to, does this make me the best version of myself? Does this align with where I want to go? Good, bad, or ugly? Does this align with where I want to go? And as Taylor liked to tell me, are your decisions supporting what it is that you want? Not, you got to start making some different choices. But you have, as long as you're living, you have the power of choice. And that's a freedom that we should never take for granted, and something that we should utilize. Because if you're not choosing, I say this all the time, if you're not choosing, somebody else is choosing for you. So make decisions, and don't be afraid to make a wrong decision. All you got to do is make another decision. I say that to you, but saying it to myself at the same time, because sometimes you get stuck by indecision because you don't want to make the wrong choice. You have the ability to make another one. You didn't choose right today, as Neville Goddard says. You didn't choose right today. Choose on tomorrow. If God blesses you to be here, you get the opportunity to choose correctly today. Yesterday, I didn't choose right, but today I'm going to choose right. You still get that opportunity. So as long as you are alive, any and everything can be fixed. As long as there's breath in your body, any and everything can be fixed. So there's no bad choices, in my opinion. All right. What music artist are you listening to presently? What's his name? They not like us. They not like us. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Kendrick Lamar. He's on replay in my head for whatever reason. But presently, I've been listening to his song because they not like us. So that that one right there. Now, if you ask me, another a spiritual artist that I'm listening to, CC Winan is on replay right now in my life for whatever reason, and it's the goodness of God. For whatever reason, that song is on replay as well. But it's Kendrick Lamar right now. All right. Tell us about the value. Okay, tell us about the value of nutrition and how you make choices, how a regular person can improve their dietary situation. Again, I don't have time to go all the way into this, but what you put into your body is very, very, very important. And even with, I was just talking about choices. How does this choice take me to where I want to go? When I want to eat something, I had to divorce chocolate because chocolate was not taking me towards the goal that I wanted. So I had to make the decision to let it go. I had to stop putting it in my body. And it was simply, how do you do that? You just, every single day when it's presented to you, I make the choice. I ask myself, is this going to take me where I want to go? So I want to eat, I want to eat Brahms every day, but is that in alignment with where I want to go, what my goals are? And so I research and I make dietary decisions based upon where I want to go, what my goals are, because I have goals. I have body goals, I have mental goals, I have physical goals, I have spiritual goals. And what I put into my body food wise impacts all of that. People don't think that it does, and we just eat for pleasure, but it impacts all of that. Having enough protein, having the right amount of carbs, having the right amount of fats. We overeat in sugar. All of that's important because it messes with your brain. It messes with your energy levels. It all makes a difference. And so again, when I'm doing this, how does this align? This thing in particular that I'm about to put into my body, how does this align with what my goals are? Well, that concludes our time for tonight. I want to thank you all for joining me. This has been really fun, really, really, really fun. I appreciate every last one of you for your questions and for talking back to me. I want to invite you to join me next week. Ashley Cheryl, a clinical psychologist, will be joining us to talk about how to overcome discomfort. She'll be providing information about how to step outside of your comfort zone and gain an opportunity for growth. So make sure you join us next week. Also, just a reminder that our guest tonight, Liz Gabriel, will be joining us on Wednesday, March 5th. So please tune in. She will be talking to us about how to live with bipolar disorder and how to avoid distractions that take you off course for your goal. So make sure that you join us. If you have not, if you are not following Next Level, and if you have not subscribed, I'm going to ask you to go to our YouTube page and subscribe to our channel, and just continue to follow us as we just continue to do what God has given us to do. I appreciate y'all for joining me on tonight. I thank y'all for your patience as the lights are coming in and everything. And I just want to let you all know that I love you, and I will see you next week. Go be great.